What's up, y'all? Let's continue on last night's conversation as to why top five arguments are stupid. Stupid as hell. Hit the like button on your way in. Hit the like button. Kicking the head with Rocky. What's up, Rocky? Tell the people what's up, Rocky. I'll say what's up, Rocky. Look at Rocky's coloring. His spots. Got them ears up. That mean he being nosy. Hey, Rocky, you nosy as hell. Rocky too busy being nosy to pay attention to care about y'all. He like, man, fuck the internet. I got people walking past. I got to be nosy. What's up, Kendall? Tammy Dorsey. I ain't seen Tammy in the chat in a minute. Oh shit, I'm getting. What's up, Go-Go? Welcome back, Shayla and Boris Shock and Sherelle Bryant. LeBron carried a purse. Appreciate the super chat. I laugh at that name every time I see it. But we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I still had some more thoughts on why top five arguments are stupid. Just to give a recap of how we started on this yesterday, we were talking about how, music has to get back to a point to where we love and appreciate the gamut. You know what I mean? Every artist, like every basketball player, like every football player, like every employee has a different role. You at your job, anyone who has a job out there, you all have people who have different roles. There's no job that exists where everybody does the same thing. Some people get out there and grind and do the groundwork with their hands. Others, you have sales staff, you got management staff, you got IT staff, you have accounting staff and HR staff, and everyone has to do their part. And then within these departments, there are multiple individuals in these departments that make the company work. Well, music is no different, and every artist has their own unique identity. And that unique identity is what makes them them. Common preaches a message, and he has a very soulful sound. He works well with jazz artists and the R&B / quote unquote neo soul sound. That's Fuse Common with that. He's on his own thing versus a Public Enemy. Their funk, boom, bap bass, and with a conscious militant message. You get Ludacris, who's made party music, fun music, and everybody, for the most part, it's not to say that. Sorry about that. I was getting a call. Everyone's different. And then you have, on top of the different artists, can y'all see now? It shouldn't be buffering anymore. It shouldn't be buffering anymore. It's about to call me. Okay, cool. If it buffers, it's probably because somebody calling me. But anyway, you have different roles, and it's like basketball. When you watch basketball, you see 10 players on the court, 5 on each team playing. But each player is doing something different. You know, Dennis Rodman was as great at his job as Michael Jordan was at his job. Scottie Pippen was as great as a distributor at his job as Michael Jordan was at his job. When you go back to those Bulls teams, one thing that, because they want to push this false Jordan narrative, because there is no greatest player of all time, going back to top fives, there is no greatest player. You just can say, okay, this guy is probably the best of his era. But in order to win, you have to have somebody that can close the game. You have to have somebody that can facilitate. You got to have somebody that can rebound and play defense. And all five guys have to be able to play defense. But you need guys who have specialties in different areas for the game to work. So to say somebody's the greatest, Jordan can only be Jordan with Scottie Pippen. Without Scottie Pippen, Jordan is just a better version of Dominique Wilkins. Anybody who watched basketball back in the 80s and the early 90s know that Dominique Wilkins and Jordan were toe-to-toe. The thing that separated them was Phil Jackson and championships. But before they got to that championship team, Jordan and Dominique Wilkins was hand in hand. Jordan dropped 50, Dominique dropped 47. Dominique dropped 50, Jordan dropped 46. It was like that almost every night of the week. But when you get into these top five arguments, you can't have these more nuanced discussions. Sub Artist Life, Big E, Sub Champ. You can't have these nuanced arguments. You end up cutting people down, and you end up not giving people the credit that they deserve. You dig what I'm saying? So back to the top five argument when it comes to sports. Top five, when it comes to music, top five comes down to, your top five is basically come down to who you like the most and who you listen to the most. And I don't know anybody who loves music who has a stagnant top five in anything. Now you can have your go-tos, like me, sonically, when I just really want to hear some music that touches my soul. My go-tos are Parliament, Earth, and Fire, Stevie Wonder, and Michael Jackson. But, you know, I probably listen, and we go through time periods where we listen to some people more stretches. Like, I probably listen to Roy Ayers, not probably, even though Michael Jackson's my go-to, I listen to more Roy Ayers than I listen to Michael Jackson as far as consistently. Roy Ayers and Donald Byrd. And, like, the last 5 years I've been on a Johnny Hammond Smith kick. I remember about 2010, 2015, I was just listening to everything George Duke. You know, and sometimes I just go on these Jill Scott binges, you know, and so, you know, when it comes to rap, anytime there's a top five, anytime I've been forced to give a top five off the top of my head, I notice I generally leave Common out of my top five if I'm forced to, you know, have that talk. But I probably listen to Common more than anybody. When I thought about it, like the rappers I listen to the most, I mean, the Ice Cube, Snoop, Kendrick, Outkast. Come on now, DJ Quick. I listen to that fuck ton of DJ Quick. My favorite album, one of my favorite albums I listen to the most is 213. I still listen, especially in the summertime. I love listening to my 213 album. Warren G, Nate Dogg. You know, Yeah, B and Finding Forever, or and Like Water for Chocolate. Those are my three favorite common joints. B, Like Water for Chocolate, and Finding Forever, and Electric Circus. I listen. Electric Circus it's got a few cuts out there I listen to a lot. I don't listen to that whole album a lot anymore, but I listen to a lot of certain cuts off that one. But B, Finding Forever, and Like Water for Chocolate, I play those top to bottom like all the time. You dig what I'm saying? That's why I was just thinking about like when it comes to, because I was asked, I did somebody's podcast about a year ago. I'm not gonna mention their name because they punk ass didn't put the podcast out. I hate when that shit happen. I swear to God, I think I be some it's some people out there trying to suppress what I talk about. I did a podcast about a year ago, and it was on a network, a popular online network. We had a dope episode. We were talking about rap, and I was breaking down music history. And them punk ass bastards never put the goddamn show out. So fuck them. I'm not gonna mention their names. But anyway, I had a discussion we were talking about, and they kind of narrowed it down. Well, if you had to do a top five, and I remember I gave a top five. I don't remember everybody I put in my top five, but when I drove away thinking, damn, I ain't even put Common in there. And as I was driving away, listening to Finding Forever, I was like, how the fuck did I put Common in my shit? You know, like, and it's really thinking, like, you know what? And I drove away from that podcast thinking, I'm never going to answer that question again. I'm never going to answer that question again. Because, first off, the fuck do you care what my top five is? You like your music, I like my music. Music is personal. You dig what I'm saying? Now, music is preference is personal. Like people come around, like I'm a Michael Jackson guy, and I love Prince, but I hate when people come to me like, man, Prince was better than Michael Jackson. Well, you like him more than so cool. What the fuck you compare him to Michael for? Prince and Michael had two completely different lanes. They were the only thing they did, only thing Prince and Michael shared was they were great performers that a lot of people love. That's the only thing that they have in common. The way they approach music is different. Their music is different. They're both geniuses. Yes, Prince can play the song music, but Michael knew the music he wanted in his head. He can sing it, and that's all. And me personally, my preference is like I don't put the artist that plays every instrument ahead of the artist that don't, because it's a lot of artists that play every instrument, and oftentimes one person playing every instrument is what makes the music dull and bland. And music is a community effort, so I'd rather have a one person playing the drums, a different person on bass, a different person on guitar, a different person doing, because it's the fusion of these varied opinions that create, in my opinion, the best pockets. So even though Stevie Wonder's in my top, I very rarely mention the fact that Stevie Wonder plays every instrument, because to me that doesn't matter. The end result is what matters. And, and then they'll talk about, well, Michael Jackson had Quincy Jones. Well, why? Well, yeah, it's great, but okay, Quincy Jones didn't have any more Michael Jacksons. They never look at it that way. People love to throw Quincy Jones' name in there, but okay, where was his follow up to Michael Jackson? He had a lot of great artists. Quincy Jones, one of the greatest of all. Cause I look at Quincy Jones still more so on the jazz guy, as a jazz guy, because his work with Count Basie is actually my favorite work of Quincy Jones. But I'm saying that to say it's all kinds of different approaches to music, and these top five, they inherently get you disrespecting people that deserve zero disrespect. Appreciate that, Cisco Bell. He said some of this is just a social issue. We're encouraged to ascribe the great man theory. So instead of appreciating everyone, we want to default to a top 5. Exactly. And those of you asking me what's the best, y'all not getting the message. Let me say something. Y'all can say y'all want in the chat room, but who's ever in your top 5 doesn't matter in today's chat. And right now, this moment, I don't care about nobody's top 5. There is no best or worst. There is no this or that. It's however you feel. That's the answer. What's your favorite era? What's your favorite rapper? What's your favorite singer? It's all the fuck that matters. Okay? My opinion isn't greater than yours. You dig what I'm saying? The whole point of today's topic is this competition in music gotta stop. The competition is for the musicians to battle out. It's our job to enjoy. It's the piano player's job to go up there and duel it out. And it's our job to sit back and enjoy both and say, hey, this person did that person did this. Music is like music is such a beautiful thing, and people make it ugly with these debates and fights. Doesn't need to be like it's too much. That's too much stress, if you ask me. Trying to narrow all that greatness down into 1 or 2. Stop. It's just we gotta change how we do this here. And the reason why I'm saying that is because while you're fighting and cutting things down, every other race gets to have a succession of greatness.